Hello friends, thanks for tuning in. I'm Big Matt, and today we're going to be working on an Akai GX747. The tension arm on this one has a broken little plastic clip, and it causes the tension arm to be able to do this, and that should never happen. There was a little tip that goes onto this tension arm that it broke off. It's supposed to grab one of the levers inside the tension arm, and these tension arms on the 747 are automatic. They're a little motor driven, so when the tape ends, there's a little motor that engages and it brings the tension arms back to the stop position. I have this one disassembled right now. I'll put it back together just to show you how it worked, but this guide comes off, this roller comes off, and this is the tension arm I'm talking about. I'll give you a different view of it. This is the tension arm itself. There's a little clip that goes on the end of this little plastic hub, and it's supposed to catch, so I can get a closer view of it. It's supposed to catch onto this little lever here, this little black piece, and as the tension arm rotates, it pulls this portion back with it. These are automatic tension arms. They have a motor that brings the tension arm back to its open position. I'll give you a demonstration. When you reach the end, when the tension arm senses the end of the tape, it drops this way, and there's a sensor on there that tells the motors to engage, and it rotates the tension arms back to the open position. Since that tip is broke off, this tension arm just rotates freely. Never seen that problem before, and these tension arms are a little expensive if you can find them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this little tip that goes here. I called my good friend James, the guy that built the Nixie tube clock that you see in the background of some of my videos. James is an expert at almost everything, but he's one of the first guys I called when I went across these kinds of issues. And he suggested that I drill a small hole in this plastic piece and insert a small nail into it. I had asked him if it would be okay to maybe epoxy a piece of plastic in there that would protrude enough to catch that lever, and he said you could do that, but in his experience, those type of attachments always break. He said it would be more secure to drill a small hole and insert a slightly larger nail into that hole, cut it off to the length that I need to fit inside that little opening, and activate that lever again when the motor rotates the tension arm back to its open position. I've got a hub from an Akai GX635. This is sort of what the extension looks like. This is the pin that I installed on it, and just to test it out and see if it works. And as usual, James is dead on point. So when I put this one on there, and I'll rotate it back, it goes back to where it should, and it rotates forward, but it doesn't go all the way forward like the other unit did. And so that seems to be a good fix. This one does have the tip still attached to it. It's a little different than the 747 because it's not long enough to reach that lever that the one on the 747 needs to reach. So I made this, left this nail out a little bit further and just cut off the excess, and it's in there really solid. So I'm going to try to. This was a donor. This is a test bed for that mod I was doing. So I'm going to try that on the 747's tension arm, and see if I can get it to shift. So I drilled a small hole, put the nail in there. It's very stable. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And I trimmed the excess off so it fits into the slot okay. I'm going to remount it onto the deck and put the assembly back together, and we'll give it a smoke test to see if it works okay. Okay, so this thing is held on with a retaining clip. I've got it in position now and the spring's reattached, and when we hit play, the knobs, the tension arm should rotate clockwise, and this one should rotate counterclockwise, and they'll sense that there's no tape there, so they'll go back into their starting position. James, you've done it again. Thank you so much, brother. So after I was done congratulating myself on a brilliant repair, I realized that this machine still didn't work. The tension arm, it would go back into the stop mode when it didn't sense the tape. When I loaded the tape and pressed play, the unit would go all the way over to the tape out position and then reset back into the stop position, as though there was no tape there. So upon closer inspection, pull this one up, I realized that this bottom switch was broken. I'll pull it up right now. It was this guy. I didn't notice it when I replaced the little tip on the tension arm, but this switch was broken right there. And this normally has a little tip on the end of it, and it rides along that little plastic piece behind the tension arm. And I'll show you this is the 635D's tension arm, and you can see it has a couple of little openings here and here. Those correspond to the stop position and to the tape out position in relationship to this switch. So I'm going like this, and when the tension arm is in this position, that switch, that little tip on the switch opens up because it'll go through that little hole right there on the tension arm, and it'll kill the power to the unit. So you're not your reels aren't just spinning. This is essentially in stop mode. So when you press play, this tension arm rotates, and it closes this switch, and it'll stop because because the tension arm senses the tape. And if you have tape loaded, both tension arms will essentially stop right in this position. And that closes this switch, and that allows the tape deck to operate. As the tape runs out, this tension arm continues to rotate, and when it comes to this other opening, that little switch, that little tip on the switch opens up, and that sends a signal to the machine to go back into the stop mode, which is approximately here. And once it gets to that point, it'll stop again and allow you to reload the tape. Because this tip was broken, it wasn't operational. So I finally found one of these things. They're impossible to find online, but I found one that was close to it on another Akai, the same 635D, or what's left of that 635D that this part came off of. It's not the exact an exact match voltage-wise for the switch, but it didn't really matter. The shape was the same, and the function of that switch is the same as this one. So I want to put that one on this machine. Then everything came back to life, and we'll demonstrate the 747. right now. So that does it for the Akai GX747 repair. Everything seems to be working on it okay right now. I'm recording from my PC and we're listening to this song over the Pioneer system like we normally do. Again, thanks for checking out this video. I'm Big Matt and you guys take care. Seems